All right, so we have Jeremy Becker here, the crusher of 2023 in the poker world. Going to hear a little about his story, a little about his run good for this year, and yeah, let the people know what's going on. So, Jeremy, welcome, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
To start, can you just share a little bit about your upbringing and how it influenced your poker career?
All right. Grew up in the suburbs of Manhattan, right outside the city, New York. Played sports growing up, mostly basketball, super competitive. Got into gambling, I'd say, I don't know, end of middle school, beginning of high school, me and my friends, all DGens, bet on anything, everything. Yeah, when I got to college in Florida, where I went to school, you have to be 18 to play poker, 21 to gamble. And I just wanted to gamble. So like I couldn't play blackjack or anything. So poker was like the only way to really get my like blood flowing. I don't know. And I just got into it.
Nice, nice. So, how old are you now?
27.
27. Nice.
Yeah.
So
You?
I'm 23.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so bunch of youngins in the and coming up in the poker world.
I think you look
Uh,
older than me, honestly.
you
I
think
look, I
so?
look pretty young. Yeah. You got the full beard. I think,
Yeah,
yeah.
something going on. So 18, you started playing poker in Florida because you could only play that and you wanted to gamble. Just tell me about your experience in Florida, how you started playing poker, when it kind of flipped for you that you could do this professionally or at least make money at it.
All right. So I started, they had 1-1 no limit, $100 max buy-in. And I never, like, I've heard of poker, but I didn't know the rules or anything. So me and a couple of my friends in college showed up to the casino to play. I think we actually showed up not knowing we can only play poker. I think we wanted to play blackjack or something, and we could only play poker at. I went to school 10 minutes from the Hard Rock in Tampa, so we went to the Hard Rock, and we sit in the 1-1 no limit $100 max, $40 min, and we probably all lost, I would guess. I mean, we're all totally clueless. Like, we were just gambling. Like, if I had 2-4 suited, I'm sure I'm getting it in. There's some guy who's probably only playing like Kings Plus for 100. And yeah, that's how I learned. We would just go. We'd go like once or twice a week. You know, we love just like the action. Then became a few times a week, then every day. I'm missing classes. I'm like, I remember. So usually I would show up. I think I used to min buy for 40. And I think what I did is I'd go with like $200 or something. And I just get stacked 40 at a time. And then I'll never forget the last 40. I would always have to win a pot, get to like 62, and I would go south 22 because I needed cab money to get back to campus every time. And I would always lose all my money, but I would save my cab money. And yeah, usually like I'd be there all night, 6, 7 in the morning. I'd go back to campus with my last money that I had from the casino. I never won at first, like ever, no matter what. I could probably get dealt aces every hand. I'm not going to leave a winner. Like, I'll fuck it up. I didn't know what I was doing. And yeah, just eventually, I think I started watching it on YouTube, like high stakes poker or whatever it was. Started to like get into it. I'm seeing the same people sitting on like $200 stacks at the 1-1, which is like they're crushing, you know? It's like, why are these guys always winning? So yeah, I don't know. I just watched a lot and played a lot and learned through trial and error. Eventually made it to 1-2. I started winning a little bit. I probably had like, I don't know, 5, 6K roll and thought I like had all the money in the world. 1-2, got to like 15K eventually, started playing 2-5. And yeah, that's really just how it happened. I played as big as consistently a 10 and a quarter game. And yeah, that's it. My background's cash. I used to only play cash.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about cash. So just fell in love with the game and just straight up just grinded it out and got to the point where you are when did it feel like you were winning consistently, you had a nice bankroll, and you were like, okay, there's something here. There's something that I should be taking this more serious and putting more time into it.
Um, I mean, I graduated college in 2018, and after I graduated, I went home to New York where my family lives and stayed there for about a year. And I was playing in a private game in New York. And also, I'd either go to Parks or Resorts World Catskills. Both were pretty decent drives. And, but I was doing real well before I moved back to Florida a year later. That's when I was playing like 10 and a quarter, mostly 5-10. And then right when I got to Florida, I remember I DGen'd hard. I probably lost 70% of like my whole bankroll playing blackjack within a 2 week span, which I wasn't doing at all in New York. But for some reason, I forget what happened. Like I must have got fucked in a big hand, honestly. Like I put it in super good and lost is probably what happened. And just for whatever reason, I went and played blackjack like an idiot. And it really humbled me because I lost a lot of money and I just moved away from my family to live on my own. And it's like, did I really just fuck this up right away? So I start playing 2-5, sometimes 1-2, like, and just grinded it back up, honestly. So if it wasn't for that, though, I think that helped me in the long run. Because nowadays, I really don't gamble at all. Like, sometimes I'll play craps with friends, but like small money, or I like PokerGO sometimes, but like I don't bet on sports anymore. I barely gamble at all anymore. I just play poker. And I think because of that situation, which like I'm looking at it like, holy shit, am I going to have to get a job? I just lost all this money I've worked for in a really long time within a week or two, just chasing the losses. Like I'd go back the next day trying to win it back. No interest in poker, just trying to get my money back in the pit. And that's just never going to work out. That's probably why most poker players don't make it, because just doing dumb shit with their money in the casino.
Yeah, it's definitely rare to have a guy that is so passionate in poker and not really gamble much outside of it. So definitely, it's obviously been a great. It was a great lesson that costed you, but it's nice that you learned it early on.
Yeah, for sure. It was horrible in the moment, but now, like, I look back on that, I really think it. I think I would still be betting on sports or betting on whatever if that didn't happen to me.
Yeah. So how long did you last in Florida before you decided to make the move over to Vegas?
I moved to Florida May 2019, and I came here at the end of February this year. So about 4 years I was in Florida, but I was also there for college, but just playing cash.
Okay. So during those 4 years, you're in college and playing like pretty much every day, effectively.
Towards the end, I'd say like my senior year, especially, I was just in there every day. Freshman and sophomore year, I would go like at night through the night most days. And yeah, junior year, probably every day, I would say. Never, I was very bad as a student. I really don't know how I graduated in 4 years. I mean, I did the bare minimum, truly. Like, I guess colleges, they just want the money. Like, if I did it in 4 years, nobody has any excuse.
Fair, fair. So you said that you were very much obviously started in cash and you played cash very often through college. What made you decide to delve into tournament poker and what ended up making you convert almost fully to tournament now?
I think when I moved to Florida, I I like shopped a daily. It's probably I've played in a couple of dailies like while I was in college, but not regularly, like super rare. I'd play like a 200 or whatever it was. And when I moved there, I remember there was a Saturday 250, I believe. And I don't know, I wanted to play it, and I'll never forget. I chopped four ways. I still remember the three other people. I think I got just under 5K, which like to me playing big cash, like, all right, cool, like that's nice. But this was after I lost a lot of my money playing in the pit. And I was like, so at that time I was playing either 2-5 or 1-2, 1-3, whatever it was. And I was like, oh, this is nice. And the whole tournament aspect, like, I don't know. I just really love the whole, like, different strategies for different parts of the tournament, which I probably wasn't doing then. I probably didn't know. But I don't know, just being in the tournament and like watching each person bust and you just make more money. I don't know. I was super into it. and but I was still mainly playing cash. And yeah, when COVID happened, I was getting into the tournaments right before COVID happened, and then when it happened, I went to New York with my family for a couple months, and I was just studying tournaments online, just watching like every high roller that's ever happened, seeing what the best guys are doing, looking up like shoving ranges, stuff like that, and I got super into it.
You use your gambling in the pits as a lesson to stay away from the gambling, stick to poker. You use COVID to change the perspective on cash and prove to be a profitable tournament player. So COVID hits, you're back to Florida, right?
Yeah, the casinos opened up May 18th or something, and when I saw that they were reopening, I was on the first flight back. Let's go.
Nice, nice. And now, so you must have lasted like 2.5 years there before you decide, and you've in that 2.5 years, you make an incredible history of your tournaments, a bunch of cashes, and you decide to take the next step and go to the big stage in Vegas, right?
Yeah, I've been to Vegas a few times. A couple of my good friends play bigger buy-in tournaments, so I would come out here with them a few times and take a shot or play a smaller tournament out here. And I always loved it. You know, even in Florida, I'm in a casino every day. Here, the casinos are better out here. I mean, there's competition, so they really just have to. The structures are better, the staff is better. I don't know, just everything's better out here. My lease was up in February and rent was going up. My guy, landlord was raising the rent, and I was just like, why am I here? Honestly. So I asked my friend who I'm living with, Jake Barrow. I don't know if you know him. He got WPT Player of the Year a couple of years ago. Said, "You want to go out to Vegas with me?" He said, "If you find a spot, let's go." And that was really it. It was within like I was gonna say 2 weeks, but it was probably more than that. A few weeks. We just applied for a place, you know, and I don't know, just came out here.
The rest is history. Let's talk about how you cashed pretty early on, right? I mean, you won your first daily, I think, in either February or March, correct?
Yeah, I remember I came out here and I was hot right away. I think I had like I want to say I won something at Venetian like a 1 day for 15K maybe. I got third at win for 10 and I'm missing one. It might have been another like 12,000 or something at win. And that was within the first couple of weeks, I remember. And I don't know, I said like I remember texting my friends like I swear I'm really not running that good. Like I just I guess the luck factor would be like bluffs were getting through and value was getting called. But I was still every poker player thinks they run the worst. Like everyone says, "Oh, I run so bad," and I mean I say it too. I mean I'll get it in pair over pair and just lose, and it feels like you're losing every time. And this shit was still happening to me while like I'm making these good runs in the tournaments. So I still tell, I mean, if somebody says how lucky I am, I say, yeah, super lucky. I'm very lucky. But I truly believe in all ins, especially pre-flop. I'm running way below EV, which is crazy to say. Like I don't know. I think I am still, which I mean, it's super hard to believe, but I just think I'm very lucky in the aspect of bluffs are getting through, values getting called, and I'm trying to um not get all in. I'm trying to limit variance as much as possible. And I
Yeah.
think if I'm not taking spots that are close versus people that I think I have an edge on, I can get those chips later and my tournament life isn't at risk. Personally, that's how I'm looking at it.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, I don't think anyone that's calling you a luck box or whatever
I mean, I
kind of.
hear it all the time. And at the casino, I say, yes, I'm the luckiest in the world. But I text my group chat or whatever about poker and I say, yeah, like, oh, I just got fucked again. Unbelievable. Like, like I'm still complaining about how I'm running in
Yeah,
text. But at the table, I'll tell everyone how lucky I am if they're calling me lucky. I'll agree. Say, sure, I'm very lucky.
yeah. It's a bogus take, to be honest, because you look at your Hendon mob, your highest cash was just this or a few weeks ago at the Venetian. It was at
Couple days
48,000.
ago. Couple days ago.
It was a couple days ago, my fault. Yeah, so it was 48,000, and just last month
Yep.
you crossed 1 million in total cash in your whole career, which is outstanding. I mean, to think about that, not having a six-figure win, let alone more than 50K in a single cash, and still getting
I
to that
can't get a
1.1
50.
million mark. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I look at it, I say, I try to be positive about it. That just shows my consistency, my resilience. And then I got my friend saying, "You're a bum. You can't even cash for 50,000 in a tournament. Like, you suck." But I'm looking at it the other way. Look how many cashes I have, you know? That's just consistently deep in tournaments. But yeah, I'm trying to get that monkey off my back first, a 50K score, then hopefully a six-figure score, and we'll see from there. But I really want to get that. It's eating at me because I hear it from my friends every day. You're a bum, you know? So
it's
hopefully I can
it's
get it soon.
yeah, it's good they're pushing you. So you're looking for that 50K score, that six-figure score. Was that $1 million mark on career cashes? Was that any kind of milestone that you were looking forward to, or is that just kind of it happened and on to the next?
I mean, it wasn't like a milestone or a goal really. I'd say, but someone I'm close with was trying to see if I'm the only person with $1 million in cashes without a 50K score, which is kind of pretty cool because, and he said he thinks I am, but I mean, I don't know how you would check that. So I think that's pretty cool, but it wasn't like I wasn't like, all right, I need to get 1 million on Hendon Mob. Like
Yeah.
that stuff doesn't really mean much to me. But it's definitely cool. I mean, it's super hard to do. Cashing any tournament is very tough to do, which people don't, especially that don't really play poker, don't realize. Like usually 90% of the players in the tournament aren't going to make the money, you know? So I don't know. It's definitely cool.
Yeah, so a lot of those cashes came from the smaller stakes, the dailies, of course. This past summer, you took a delve into the WSOP. You played the main event before, but this time was a little bit different. You got staked by Josh Arieh and Daniel Negreanu, obviously Kid
True.
Poker, called you the one on Twitter. I'm sure that was a moment in itself.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that moment when you saw that tweet. What was going through your head? How did you? What happened after that? And yeah, just take us through that.
Yeah, I remember I wasn't on my phone when it happened, and I think I was playing basketball or something, and I looked at my phone, and a bunch of my friends saw it, and they were letting me know, and I thought they were like messing with me. But yeah, then I saw it. It's definitely cool. He said something about staking me for the World Series, Negreanu, and to me, Negreanu is, I guess, the biggest legend in poker. Like to me, you know, he's obviously done very, very well. He's the most like outgoing, I'd say, with people. He lets everyone know what he's thinking. Like, I don't know. It definitely, like, I guess the person I look up to the most in poker that I don't know, I'd say would be him before this. So, I mean, it was definitely awesome to see. But I think there is a little bit of, I think Josh Arieh reached out to him before this. I still got to figure it out, but I'm pretty sure this wasn't on his own. I think because Josh had contacted me earlier about either buying action from me because he heard about me from one of his best friends who lived in Florida or something that I still don't know. Like, I don't know who it is. I just know his name. And
This was a
he doesn't
while
play
ago, or this was
tournaments.
this year?
No, this was within the last year and a half or so. So Daniel and Josh are super good friends. So I think Josh wanted to get action during the World Series. And I said, I have people that I sell action to. I appreciate it. But like if I play something big and I want to sell, I'll definitely let you know. And I think he told Daniel, like, hey, check this kid out, maybe put out something in public. Because he knows like it's tough to not do business with Daniel Negreanu if he's offering.
Yeah.
And Josh has a piece. So I think there may be some funny business behind that. But yeah, the two of them are awesome. So we work together now. And yeah, I mean, it's awesome to be able to talk to those guys about poker, life. I mean, and to also be able to play like much bigger buy-ins than I'm used to consistently if I want without stressing about any sort of financial stuff.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's obviously two great guys to have as mentors in the poker world. You made very well on that first staking deal. I assume this first staking deal with the main event went and cashed for it for 44,000. It was
I think it was
305th,
my
correct?
biggest cash at the time. It was 305th. I believe online it says 306, but I still have the payout slip. So 305th. I don't know what's going on online. I'm pretty sure it says 306, but I'm proud of the 305th.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So how does specifically within that WSOP and that main event, was there any kind of different approach when it came to playing in those dailies compared to playing in the WSOP main and now these larger tournaments?
No, I mean, I've played bigger buy-ins before. This was my third time playing the main. The first two were on my own. I would say in the dailies, it's a quicker structure. So you really want to try to be the aggressor and build up your chips and put the pressure on people. Where I'd say the main, I mean, the structure is so long. There's really no need, especially early, to really just get after it and like chip up. And I mean, it's such a long tournament. You don't need to, you want to cut down variance as much as possible, especially early on in this tournament. So I would say my strategy was rather than me being the one that was punting it off, trying to win every pot, I was trying to catch the punts, you know? And I mean, it just so happens my bust out, I was the punter, but um, yeah, I was definitely more patient, not taking as many spots as I would in like a 1 day tournament. But I do remember day two late, I six bet shoved ace five suited, got a full, which is like unheard. Like who's five bet bluffing? It was like the one guy at the table I thought would, this Brazilian guy. He actually either got ninth or 10th.
Oh
He
yeah, he
went
made it to
super
the
deep. The
nice.
guy who looks like the professor from Money Heist, if you ever seen that.
I haven't seen Money Heist, but
He
I
looks
think I
like
know
the
what you're talking about.
professor from that. I don't remember if he made the final. He got ninth or 10th, I want to say. Possibly eighth. But yeah, he was super deep, and that was who was on. I got the fold there. So that was like a super big risk. But there's definitely a lot less of that throughout the main for me personally.
Nice.
But
So you've had a great run. How do you stay focused and maintain your strategy amidst a losing streak, if at all, in your career?
okay, so I would say that before it was the beginning of this year before I moved. I think it was the end of January. I won a 1 day. I think it was 400. It was either 400 or 600. First I got 33,000. I won. It was a 1 day tournament in Hollywood, Florida. 500 something players, I believe. And before that tournament, bankroll wise, I was probably not at like my lowest point since I moved, but definitely within the last like year or so, I was just on a big downer. Like I'm losing every all in, like just super my mindset was bad, my energy just when you're getting it all in pre-flop with aces and you feel like you're losing every time, it just makes you second guess shit like why am I playing this game where like I feel like I'm doing everything right and I'm still like just getting fucked. Like I don't understand. Like maybe I should do something else. And for the first time ever, I felt like that before that series. I went to Hollywood for that series and I won that tournament. And that tournament for me really changed a lot in like my mindset and like my energy I'm giving off. I don't know. But before I won that, I was definitely like starting to think like, you know what, maybe I should go back to cash. Or you know what, maybe I should like do something else for secondary income just to like take away some stress. Like I feel like I'm going to work and like I'm losing money at work. Like what kind of job is that, you know? So I would say before then, and also the second time, I was much better financially at this point, but just like mentally, after the World Series, I I went to New York to see family and friends for like 2.5 weeks. I think I went the first week of August. So I was in New York till mid-August, let's say. I went on a not like a huge financial downer, but same sort of shit. I felt like I'm losing every all in when I got back. Like I lost a decent amount of money just because I was rifling through bullets. I mean, if there's a 1 day 400, it just so happened that I'm buying in 5 times every day. And in my mind, I don't think I'm like punting it off. I'm sure I could do some other stuff to not do that. But I say I was amping up variance and on the wrong side of it. And I mean, this isn't a secret. I'll tell it. So Josh and Daniel's deal was just for the World Series. And after the World Series, they asked like if I was interested in continuing or what are we doing? And I was like, I appreciate it, but just the whole being back thing isn't for me. Like, just for whatever reason, I wasn't. I don't know. I felt like just mentally it wasn't good for me. And after this happened, when I got back to Vegas, and I'm looking around the corner, the Win 10Ks are coming up. There's some big tournaments. I talked to a few people that are back and asked them like mentally how do they deal with it if let's say you're in makeup and you're playing a tournament where first place might not even get you out, like how do you deal with that? And after talking with my friends, I texted them back, Daniel and Josh. I said, hey, you know what? Like, are you guys interested? Like, is that deal still on the table? And they said, yeah, like, let's do it. So how we did it was all buy-ins over a certain amount they have, and all buy-ins not up to that point is all me. So even if one day I do get in some like deep makeup or something, I can still make money on my own playing a smaller tournament for me. So I think that'll work very well with me. I've loved it so far. I don't know. I got to play the Poker Masters. I played all the 10Ks at the Poker Masters with just zero like stress. Like I played 6 tournaments. That's over 60K in buy-ins. And if I were to go 0-6, whatever, like I'll make it up. I'll win something else and get the money back for them where it's not anything out of my pocket at the moment. So now I'm looking at it like differently and I feel super good.
Nice. Nice. And I'm sure being comfortable at the table, feeling confident has a ton to do with your performance on the felt.
Yeah, for sure. I would say playing the Poker Masters definitely helped me a ton. I don't know if it's all confidence, but just playing with those guys who are like truly the best of the best alive guys. And I got like Foxen on my right, Mateos on my left, and like I'm feeling I'm playing with them. Like I don't think they're like pushing me around or like I don't obviously these guys are nasty. Like I'm sure they're better than me at poker. But while I'm sitting there, I just feel like I'm right there with them. And I think that I've been hot since I played those. I cashed in 2 of them out of the 6, which is good. I had a small loss because my cashes were for like 18 something and 17 something. So I lost a little bit of money in that series, but I don't know. I felt like if just a couple hands went differently, I could have for sure profited during it. And after that series, I've had 2 of my biggest scores. I just had my biggest one, 48,000 something. I won a tournament at Venetian. And I think it was after the Poker Masters. It was either right after or right before. I got third in the MSPT for 40 something thousand. I don't
I'm
even know
looking
if
at
it
it.
was before or
I'm looking
after.
at it right now. It was September 8th was that the third,
So it was before?
the Venetian. It was just before the Masters. Your first cash for the Masters was the
Okay.
16th and then the 18th.
Yeah, but definitely post Poker Masters. I feel like I'm on another level. I really don't know how to explain it, but I got to think that has something to do with it. Um, yeah, I mean, and also to see, so for me, all those guys are great. But for me, being there and sitting at the table and watching these guys play, I personally thought Adrian Mateos was like the best. They're all nasty, but I thought he was like the best one. And he played every 10K, 25K, 50K, and the super high roller bowl, 300K. He didn't cash once, not one cash, which is like, I thought he was the best one. He just happened to lose all of his all-ins, you know? Any big spot, he either lost the flip or got buffed. And in tournaments, that's such a big part of the game. Like, I mean, bankroll management, like, he was doing everything right, every good decision. He'd make the tough call on the turn, be right, and he would just lose on the river. And just watching him, for me, thinking he's the best and then seeing he didn't cash once is like, holy shit. Like, tournaments, you just, like, I don't know, you need to be able to have money to withstand streaks like this. Like, that's super important, which I don't think, I think people play tournaments and are scared to bust out. And that's probably why they just won't win long term, because rather than try to win the tournament, they're trying not to lose. And that's just not going to work out. You know, you can't be scared to bust. Like, you're supposed to bust. It's a tournament. You should be all in a lot. And I think people, especially at the lower stakes, just don't understand that. And yeah.
Yeah, so it seemed like obviously the Poker Masters was a huge learning experience for yourself and very eye-opening. Like you said, you went on right after that, you won four straight, you won four tournaments in a row, at least on Hendemond. So this past year, you've won 17, which is just outstanding. Any of them stand out to you? Any of them are like the most rewarding in your head?
I'd say this past one, I mean, this Venetian one, the 800, you know, I'm sure they're not that I really care what people say, but I've heard, oh, he wins all these dailies. Like, what about a real tournament? Like, all right, here you go. 800 at Venetian. There were some very good players in that tournament. People that I wouldn't expect to play the 800, and they were there. And this was a multi-day tournament. I usually prefer one-day tournaments. I've just had more success in those. And this was nice, you know, to get my biggest score to one bulleted, by the way. I've been one bulleting a ton lately, and I see online these trolls telling me how I'm buying in 10 times a tournament. It's just not true, but whatever. This was a one bullet for all the haters out there. Yeah, I mean, this one meant a lot. Super good structured tournament, tons of good players. And to decline a deal that was in I don't do deals. I don't know if you know this. No matter what, I just won't do a deal. And I got offered a very good deal for me, three-handed, when I barely had the lead. And I didn't even consider it. And then I got super short. I got screwed a couple times. And then to fight back and close this one out, you know, I don't know. It just felt super good winning that turn. Every tournament that you win feels good, but I don't know. This one being my biggest score and being like a multi-day tournament and the competition in the tournament, this one definitely meant the most, I'd say.
Nice, awesome. It's funny you mentioned, excuse me, you mentioned that you don't do any deals, but the very first tournament that you cashed in was a four-way chop, correct?
Oh, and yeah, I used to take good chops.
So what kind of flipped the switch to you going on the other side of the fence?
Basically, do you know who Max Young is?
I'm not familiar.
All right, so I don't know where he lives now, either Florida or Oregon, but super good poker player, been grinding the tournament scene for years. He came to Tampa where I was living, and he won a main event there for a couple 100,000. I want to say it was like, I don't know, 240 or something he got. So super big score. And he became friendly with one of my really good friends there. And the three of us got dinner after he won this tournament. And I watched him decline a deal heads up there. And I asked him about it. Like, it was a good deal for you. And basically his advice to me was experience is worth a ton. If you don't need the money in the moment, like, play it out. It'll pay off in the long run, basically, is what he said. And basically, I saw him right before I moved to Vegas in February in Pompano at a WSOP circuit in Florida. He won this tournament in Tampa a couple of years ago. And now basically the whole like punchline of this story was I saw him do a deal heads up now in Florida right before I moved out here. And I was like blown away because I was there. I'm thinking, what the fuck? Did this guy just tell me some bullshit? Like, he literally, I haven't done a deal ever since he told me this a few years ago. And I'm definitely lost a lot of money because of it. Now I'm so stubborn. I could be four-handed with, I could have two big blinds and the other three could have 30 and they could offer me an even shot. I won't do it. It's just a principle thing. I understand I'm getting a good deal. I'm not saying I'm going to win the tournament. I just want to play. I want to just play, whatever. So, yeah, ever since I talked with him about that, I took to heart, like, experience is worth a ton. It'll pay off in the long run. And ever since then, I just have never done a deal. I always say, let's say I'm three-handed with Foxen and Mateos, and they both cover me, and I get an even chop deal. I'm not doing it. But then again, I've never been in a position to change my life with a deal for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I say I won't do it. We'll see what happens when that time comes. But I really don't think I'll do anything ever. I want to play it out no matter what. Like, experience is worth a lot. Let's go.
Yeah, I think that's a
So
great
yeah, that's why.
methodology. If the, like you said, if the money's not going to change your life in a drastic way, why not just play it out, get the extra hands in, and improve on your overall game.
Yep,
Um,
for sure.
so you said you had a few milestones that you're shooting for in your poker career: the 50K cash first of all, and then the six-figure cash. Anything else, like overarching goals that you have that you want to accomplish before you hang it up?
Man, I see myself wheeling around in a wheelchair at 90 playing a daily. I'm not hanging it up. I really fucking love playing tournament poker. Like, I get made fun of all the time. You gonna take an off day? Like, I used to take either 1 or 2 days a week off. I still I just went to New York for a couple weeks in August. Those were day off, zero poker out there. But I mean, right now, like, I truly just wake up and I want to play. I get invited to do shit all the time. I have no interest. Like, if there's a tournament going on, I'm playing it. So I would say a goal that I have that I guess I kind of, I guess I kind of have it now with my deal with Daniel and Josh is basically at the PokerGo studio. Um, if they had a 10K there every day, I think I'll be playing it every day. I mean, I think we'll see, but yeah, I want to be able to play these like high rollers every time they have them here. Personally, I love the whole atmosphere, the environment, the challenge. Like, yeah, I'd say playing more high rollers would be my goal, and hopefully I can get some better scores outside of those high rollers. Also, I mean, yeah, I can't wait till I'm sure they'll call it something else, but like another Poker Masters here. Like, I can't wait. I'm sure I'll be playing the 10Ks and like I'll get super excited for them. And while I'm on this interview with you, I'm super excited. The win has a 400 today, and like I can't fucking wait to go play. Let's go. So I don't think I'm gonna hang it up. If I were to win $3 million today, I'm not buying a car. Like, I'm just playing bigger tournaments. Like, that's just what I want to do right now.
That's awesome, man. Just a student of the game, pure passion. I love it.
Yeah.
Lastly, and then we'll wrap it up. Any word of advice for upcoming players, the grinders out there that share the same passion as you? Any kind of insightful or any kind of advice that you want to give them?
I always say, if you're playing poker purely for money, like your goal is just to make income, I would play cash. It's just better. It's more consistent. You have a better mental. You can have more of like a schedule. Like, I'm going to play at these hours. But if you're super into the tournaments, and I think the tournaments are way more strategic, more fun, I would definitely say the number one thing. I mean, you hear it, but you really got to take it to heart is bankroll management. Whether it is selling action to stuff that you're not real. I mean, I sell action to things that I'm well overrolled for. I just always will. Like, I don't know. I think limiting the variance as much as you can is super important if you want to be around for a long time. So I would definitely say that. If you're a winning tournament player, I would try to sell action to tournaments that you want to play. Or I used to be super, super against the backing. I know people that are back that their mental is just not right. If you could get the sort of deal that I have where your bigger buy-ins, you're on a stake, and your smaller buy-ins, that can be all you. I would definitely recommend that because you just need sustainability. Like as I was saying, I thought Mateos was the best player at those tournaments, and he didn't cash once, and he kept making right decisions, and he just kept losing. And if you're stressing about the buy-ins for tournaments, or let's say like there's a spot where you just need to bluff it off here, like that's the right play, and you're scared because it's a big buy-in and it's like, oh fuck, if he calls, like I'm just out of this tournament and I can't rebuy, like I'm just not rolled for it, then it's just not going to work out for you long term. So definitely bankroll management. Make sure you got a good bankroll.
Nice, nice. I think that's a great word of advice. And so Jeremy, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate the time. Feel free to plug any of your socials or anything at all that you're looking to get more eyes on.
Same name on Instagram and Twitter, jbex2417. That's it. Appreciate you having me.
Awesome. Thank you, man.